Veterans Administration made the unprecedented decision to allow all veterans, more than 18 million servicemen and women, to access emergency behavioral crisis care anywhere in their communities for free. No longer would veterans be forced to wait on a VA appointment to receive treatment or feel uncomfortable accessing mental health care services in a military-like setting. All of a sudden, a door opened for local veterans that had previously been closed, and a St. Joseph therapist is grateful to fulfill the mission given to him long ago.
Kind of worked through some of the issues that I kind of had to work through as a veteran myself.
For St. Joseph's Drew Fisher, the battle hasn't ended. When he made the eternal and collective commitment to the U.S. Marine Corps, he pledged loyalty to his fellow Marines that he's fought alongside. Semper Fi. It means always faithful in Latin, and no one understands the depths of despair quite like a fellow soldier.
There's a lot of barriers. Yeah, I think when I first came home, I wasn't able to get into services because X, Y, or Z, I didn't fit whatever the criteria was. I think mostly because I was too young is what one provider told me at one point. I was like, what are you talking about?
Fisher's struggle to adjust to civilian life was less than lighthearted, and similar to many U.S. veterans seeking help, was an uncomfortable step, almost unnatural. Aaron Samuels was one of those fellow Marines. He took his last ride and left behind new wife Stephanie and a baby boy.
For a long time, every time I go to the VA, I'd go to Leavenworth or the CBOC clinic in town, and I felt like I was kind of going back on base in my own way.
It was similar to his next jump into behavioral therapy.
I talk about, being a therapist and a Marine. It's a really dichotomous difference.
When Fisher began his practice, it was well before 2023 when the VA announced free suicide crisis care options and created a program where local civilian therapists could provide care on behalf of the VA.
It's opened the floodgates. I think it's also changed a little bit of the setting of the VA. I am now providing services through veteran community care. Essentially, the VA is experiencing the same thing the rest of the world is experiencing. Not enough providers to be able to kind of keep up with the constant need that we have. So it allows businesses like myself to be able to provide the services for the VA. And being a veteran, I really kind of enjoy seeing all these veterans come in and get the care that they need. And I'm able to really kind of ensure that we're getting the proper, clinical setting for each one of them.
For the Samuels family, it was too late. Fisher says, now there is hope.
It's not the VA when you come into Fisher Counseling, but it's still a VA service. And I think that's kind of a cool little experience for a lot of individuals, and kind of psychologically stimulating, For a long time being in the military, everything was the military. Now you're a civilian, and you don't feel that way when you go to the VA, but now you are when you're coming to Fisher Counseling for a VA service.
Want to take lead? Where are we going? Anywhere.
His service goes beyond words that are spoken. It's living warriorhood, side by side daily.
Really wonderful to really kind of watch the growth and actually work with the population. And some of these clients are individuals that wouldn't necessarily be able to afford counseling without the VA actually sponsoring that. So that's been really wonderful to be able to kind of help them as well.